Hello, hello. Seems like need to do a refresh of the chat for a bit. Now it's brand new, and we can go back to beating the Pulse Camera Up team. Oops. Last time we did from normal, fighting, flying, poison, ground, rock, bug, ghost, and steel monotypes. Next up we are going to be doing fire. The fire monotype. So yeah, let's get on with it. Fire should be at a distinct advantage in this case, since the field is very good for it. I don't expect it to be too much of an issue. Okay. There is a mega form of Meganium that gets partial fire type, so it's going to also go in this box, although I don't expect it to be useful right now. A lot of good Pokemon are slowly starting to trickle in, even in Mono Fire. I just hope that after I'll beat I will get some new evolutions for certain Pokemon, such as for Volcarona, or Larvesta in this case. Incineroar. Skeledirge. Thanks for the lurk, Bomb Scout. Okay. Let's go. Muffin is done. Chandelure is next. Then Cast Form. Then Pyroar. Rapidash. It's here. Then Talonflame. Then Simisear. Then Scovillain. Then Turtonator. This one, yeah, it's in the dragon, okay, here. Nothing new so far. Then Heatmore. Then regular Kecleon. Then Macargo. And the future Pulse Camerupt. Okay, so let's see, what can we do here? I think maybe the regular Typhlosion could work. And maybe even Arcanine. Centiskorch for the Oxys. Now the question is, what should I do next? I need something to poison or have a weather effect on it. Okay, or this one would work, yeah. And Colossal, Camerupt, and Chandelier. Chandelier should be good enough. Okay. And now I'll start off with Typhlosion. Mono Fire. Let's do it. Thank God for clear smog. And now that's about it. Camerupt. Okay. Well, that's why I have Chandelier here, to curse it. I guess I need... What's its speed? 119. So so it's too slow. Okay. Well, I'll give it a Focus Sash. One per team. Should be good enough. Oh, come on. I don't want it to miss. Thanks for removing my debuff. And thanks for flinching. Next up is Camerupt. And now I should survive an Ancient Power due to my Focus Sash. and give it a curse, which will trade. Okay, now who should I bring in? Whoever I bring in, he's going to bring in something that's going to be good against it. So I think I'll go with Arcanine for this one. Well, guess I'll... Oh, great. Okay. Deoxys. Well, I did say I'd bring in Centiskorch for it. And I can use Bug Bite. Of course, if I don't flinch. Finally. Flygon. And I'll use Outrage. That should be good enough. Anti-Flosion. I'll just use Bite to get rid of Flygon. And Steelix. And just one Overheat should be enough. Yep. And we've seen this cutscene yesterday. But I just want to check something. Oh, it healed my team. I forgot. I think I used Typhlosion, Arcanine, Centiskorch, and Chandelure. Okay. That's Mono Fire done. Next up is going to be Mono Water, which is going to be debuffed in this field, unfortunately. But what can you do? You can't have it all. Okay. Ranger, then Swampert. Then the two Blastoise. All of them already leveled up, so I don't need to worry about them. For Alligator is next. Then Empoleon. Then Cinderace. Then Inteleon. Then Samurott. It's over here since it gets Omega, which is part fighting. Okay, then Purple Kecleon. Okay. Then Starmie. Then Barbaracle. then Dreadnought, then Kingler, then Lantern, oh, actually not Lantern, but Sharpedo first. Now Lantern. Okay, then Walrein. Then Primarina. Then the two best collegians. Then Meowscarada. If only I can find it. Should be around here somewhere. Yeah, it's here. Then Quaquaval. Then Hisuian Samurott. Then Vaporeon. Then Megamuffin. Then Cast Form. Then Corsola. Then Seismitoad. Then Golduck. Then Clawitzer. Then Simipour. Then Floatzel. Then the future Drugalgi, which is just a scrub for now. Then Furfrularain. Okay, nothing new so far besides Seismitoad, which I've already dealt with, to bring it up to par with the rest of the teams. Okay. Then the future Mantine, which is just a Mantike so far. Then Huntail and Gorbis, which I can't evolve just yet. I don't know why Clampos are available so early, but meh. Can't really do much with them. Then Ludicolo. Then Veluza. Then Dugong. Then Gastrodon. Which I've already dealt with. Then Swanna. Then Whiscash. Then Crawdont. Then Luminion. Then Masquerain. Then Seeking. Then regular Kecleon. Then Quagsire. Then Wugtrio. Could have sworn that I've used Wugtrio somewhere already. Oh, it's here. Okay. Then Azumarill. Then Bibarel. And Pyukumuku. Okay, let's see what we can do. I have a feeling that I know what I can do. And Starmie. Maybe. Who knows? Legion, the two Samurats, maybe Corsola too. Worst case scenario, maybe Skrelp. Because I think Skrelp has Toxic. Yeah. No, what's its speed? 74, yeah. Now, why would you have such a terrible nature? They'll lead with the Hisuian Samurott. just to set up some spikes. Great. Okay. Psybeam. Okay, so maybe I don't have the Okay. What do you have? Metronome. Well, you're going to get a focus sash then. Not a metronome, because you clearly are going to need it. Okay. Oh, and wrong Samurott. Okay. Camerupt is next. And I just need to survive and bring hits. Okay. Flygon. I'll bring in Samurott again. And continue with my Ceaseless Edge, if only I could not miss. Great. Steelix. I guess I'll bring in Corsola for now. And use Earth Power on it. And there goes Steelix. Now it's just Deoxys. Let's try Samurott again, the Hisuian version. And that was enough. Well, that's good. So, as far as I can tell, I've used only Hisuian Samurott, Starmie, and Corsola, and Skrell. Well, that's good. Mono Water did its job, even on a volcano field. Mono Grass is next. This is going to be one of the more problematic Ok, au mers bine. Am dus-o la veterinar și i-au dat o injecție de față cu mine. Ce să-i faci? Fac și eu griji pentru ea. Poate pe undeva pe Twitter, prin reply-urile mele, mai sunt poze cu ea. Dacă e așa o pisică neagră cu un pic de alb. Am făcut focul, apa, deja. Și urmează să fac grass. Cum să zic? Scapă termenul în iarba. Da, acum urmează una din părțile cele mai grele. Superior. Cum a fost ziua ta? Și pe la noi a fost 28 de grade, deci stai liniștit. Nici prin Transilvania nu o ducem noi mai bine în privința căldurii. Ai văzut ce am postat cu o jumătate de oră înainte să înceapă stream-ul pe Twitter-ul meu. Aș fi postat mai devreme, dar din păcate nu mi-o... Ce noroc și 31 de grade, ui! Și pe la noi se apropie o furtună. Înainte să înceapă chiar tuna destul de bine. Mă văd că sunt mai calmat. A trecut furtuna. A fost marți o furtună mai urâtă. Marți fiind ieri, de fapt. Da, așa aia. Mă uit, am avut și ceva postat legat de horoscopul Twitter-ului, ceva de genul ăsta. Chiar cu o jumătate de oră înainte să înceapă stream-ul. Dacă vrei să te uiți așa pe timeline-ul meu, să vezi ce a ieșit. Am avut un prieten care ieri a făcut-o, dar când am încercat eu ieri, serverul era jos pentru că prea mulți o încercau și abia acum am prins și eu să mi-l fac. Și na, hai să-l postez ceva înainte să vină, înainte să înceapă nebunia de aici. Înainte să uit. Trap all. just a Diplin for now. Regular Tangrowth. Sunflora, Go-Goat. Și acum am trebuie execute. Da. Și m-au crezut că n-am femeie. Ce să vezi? Pun aici până una alta. Da, așa pe mi-au venit acolo diverse chestii interesante. Am zis că arată destul de făinuț și să-i dau o încercare. Chestnut. Pentru asta îmi trebuie fighting. Ok. Decidueye pentru Ghost. Trebuie Suyans Decidueye pe aici pe undeva. Sunt curios cum ar ieși pentru tine. Ia Scrada. Și Malefion. Nu mă bag la cele horoscope? Am zis că dacă și-au făcut niște prieteni de-ai mei să-mi fac și eu. Și tu, publicitate de Twitter. Execute. Cum se evoluează de obicei acesta? Ok, deci în funcție de... îmi trebuie Leaf Stone. Ok, deci ăsta e pentru... Ok. Trebuie să modific eu manual. Că nu mă mai duc până în oraș ca să am un executor normal. Că e în funcție de locație. Fac manual forma 0, forma obișnuită. Și am să sper totuși să... Scuze? Da. În mod normal... Ce am învățat un lucru în legătură cu... Dacă fata te întreabă care ți studia, lasă să nu ieși la întâlniri cu ea. Da, așa e adevărat. Pe mine nu mă prea deranjează chestia asta. Maică mea era tot timpul cu zodiile și cu revista Formula A, lua de-astea chestii de la jehoviști, că erau la modă prin orașul meu, fiind, știi tu, jumișuma maghiar. Și apoi, na, noi chiar 100% ortodoxie pe aici. O bășină cu putere de s-a auzit la microfon. Nu a fost bășină, ci a fost rgâit. Am aici un... cum ne zice? O sticluță de apă. Și am luat-o în gură și, na, așa se aude. Când râgâi un pic. Hai să văd un pic. Executor. Hai, încarcă-te. Deci, executor normal e mai mult special attacker, ok. Mega Drain. Poate la Giga Drain. Natural Gift, nah. Egg Bomb. Cineva văd că... Maybe. Stai așa un pic, că am aici pe cineva care mi-a trimis un mesaj. Bestow, nu. Synthesis. Uproar. Reflect. Hai să am ceva în caz că... Giga Drain, ăsta e mai bun decât Woodhammer, că oferă și un pic de... Plus că e special attack, oferă un pic de... cum ne se zice? De healing. Imediat un pic că... Leaf Storm. No. Așa cum pot reveni aici cu atenția. Din păcate cam pe la ora asta mă iau cam toți. Și apoi na. Leech Seed, presupun că în loc de baraj. Bullet Seed, presupun că în loc de absorb. Reflect, no. Stun Spore, no. Poisons, no. No. Mega Drain. Asta e mai mult către physical attacker, așa că până una alta o să... Da, n-am eu mulți, dar care eu i-am, în principiu mă înțeleg bine cu ei. Synthesis, no. Uproar, no. Woodhammer. Stai mai mult physical, deci o să mă axez pe physical cu asta. Eu văd un dragon, all my fella și dragon. Îmi explici un pic ce înseamnă aia, că nu am mai văzut la alții și nu am priceput care e faza cu dragonul sau cu dinosaurul. Muffin. Sunshine Form Cherem. Toad Scroll. Arboliva. Poate acum încep să se audă din nou tunetele. Au tunat acum destul de tare. Livani. Message. Început să latre și câinii acum din cauza că tunat așa de tare. Sicilian Electrode. Blossom. Că da, eu am cum să spun, eu am restream chat-ul și nu-l văd că dansează. Ok, acum m-am prins. Că la mine e static. Ia să văd, pot să pun ceva și o muzică un pic. Că poate ne mai săturăm să stăm așa. Sper doar să nu mă împuște ăștia de la YouTube. Încarcă-te. Nu știu de ce uneori am impresia că se încarcă mai greu internetul. Poate că și din cauza că streamuiesc. Că trebuie un pic mai jos, că nu știu cât de tare se aude pe stream și asta e adevărul. Ok. Să văd pe unde am rămas. La Shift Tree. Să vedem cum înjură Codrin Brandea. Let's see. Codrin Brandea.
Rapinon 2. Vai că m-aș căra la punct până vă despart toate costele pierdute în cultura ciugărte din toate prostele. Hai ia-mă de mână să ne potrivim pe veci, că sunt băiat bun din nota 9 pula. Restul de sutime sunt pahare și în portofel. Chiar te face să gândești cum unii nu gândesc de fel. Tot nu prin la vrăjală că ajută la gingie. Nu credeam vreodată că o să văd o fată bulangie. Alisă România n-am vedea așa minuni. Un om perfect normal sunt.
Mă bucur că-ți place.
Noi să avem pâine pe mâine, între noi poate stresându-ne. Între timp Iohannis stă în 7 case cumpărându-le. Îți lua de plante mai precis de la Hamei. Hei, n-ai mai luat apă, forța steaua, hei, hei. Era să iau aurolac, dar am luat ketonal. În fiecare lună spart venitul anual. Am pornit radarul pentru aia care stau degeaba. Faci exact cum spunem sau te tragem pe dreapta. Nino, 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 Nino. Ridicați mâinile în aer, aici nu ne facem lava. Am pornit radarul pentru aia care stau degeaba. Faci exact cum spunem sau te tragem pe dreapta. Nino, 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 Nino. Ridicați mâinile în aer, aici nu ne facem lava. Ei, uite, încă pot să mă destind, încă beau distinct și nu mă rup gumele voastre, că nu sunt fragil ca sting. Mulți cântă murind, de-aș fi lapte să mă prind durere în pulă. E ca și cum aș da la buci spint. Agentul pulii, dă-mi voie să mă prezint. Sunt tot ceea ce am creat și ce reprezint. N-am să te mint, pentru un like nu te alin. Și dacă drumul spre succes e fără curbe și curve, rămân mai bine în labirint. În timp ce ăștia fac muzică de lift, în ambele sensuri ușoare, tot în ambele sensuri lifturi, că da și coboară. Mai bine scară cu scară, nu mă las eu tras pe sfoară, decât dacă o dai în țară, că nu ar fi prima oară. Sau-ți dă mine că sunt pus din nou pe show, eu n-o dau la show.
Sper doar să nu zic acum Twitch că ce prostii difuzez eu. Aia mi singura mea grijă. Nu neapărat family friendly, dar cum să spun, nici nu vreau să mi se dea ban la channel. Adică na, sunt așa mai între family friendly și 18 plus, să spunem așa. Nu-s genul ăla care să țin neapărat la family friendly. Și eu am mai înjurat din când în când în engleză când am pierdut o luptă. Da, na. De cât posibil încerc să împăzesc canalul. E de-abia la început. The business killing the Balkans. Ia, vrei să auzim ceva în background? Ceva emisiuni? Să le dau pauză până când o să fie bătăliile, dar după aceea o să ascult și eu. Ok. Tipul ăsta e sârb.
The Balkans, you've most likely seen places like this. Betting houses. Amongst the diet of meat, raw onions, and accustomed to start a war every couple of years that results in the deaths of tens of millions, betting houses are yet another staple of Balkan culture, which can be virtually found in almost every country in the region. If you drive through any major cities such as Bucharest or Belgrade, you will see colorful billboards advertising companies such as Balkanbet and Mozart, and physical locations won't be too far from you at any point in time. In Romania alone, in 2015, profits from gambling were estimated estimated to be 266 million euros, which was almost double that of the previous year, which estimated the earnings to be at around 144 million euros. As a whole, today the industry in the country alone is estimated to be worth between 10 to 12 billion euros. Meanwhile, in the neighboring Serbia, projected revenue from online gambling alone is estimated to reach 130 million euros this year. So, what is going on? Why is gambling so big here, and what are the consequences of it on Balkan society? The situation we find ourselves in started all the way back in the 90s. Prior to this point, most of the Balkans were under the grasp of communism. Under this economic system, the majority of the population were significantly less wealthy than their Western European counterparts, and the standard of living was even lower. I know, shocking, communism didn't work. Who'd have thunk? Nevertheless, as socialism collapsed, the Balkans started to transition into a free market economy. However, if you happen to live here during this time period, you're well aware that this transition wasn't the smoothest. Many of the government institutions collapsed, the law became more of a suggestion rather than a command, poverty rose even higher, and if you happen to live in the Western Balkans, with anarchy taking over and there being a severe lack of regulation, many Western gambling...
Ok, o să fac o pauză un pic. Well, monograss, let's see. Let's set up some toxic spikes. Okay. Kind of expected that to happen. It's no problem. Hopefully I didn't need jump love for this, but who knows. And thank God for terrain changes. Flapple, you're up. Ouch. Oh, great. Well, at least it's toxic. And it has that life orb too. Rillaboom, come back in. And I don't know, maybe Noble Roar. And just keep doing it. Okay. Well, that was... Okay. Well, drum beating. Please continue on. Okay. Deoxys. And I'm going to save it for now. Aboma Snow, please come over here. And use Energy Ball. Well... Oh, great. I thought that it would work. Well, this is a fail. So I do need a toxic user. Keep forgetting that it has heavy duty boots. And so, well. I think I remember it having poison powder, so Yeah, I'll just do that. Da. Oh, știu pe acestii face niște content destul de bun. Vei pune episod despre România de la acest tip după acest videoclip. Ok. Te aștept. Nu știu la care episod te referi. Poison powder. Amplified rock. Okay, second time's the charm. Monograss. Although, stai așa un pic că îmi trebuie. Second time's the charm. Monograss. Let's see how we can do against it. Against this pulse Camerupt. Okay. Rillaboom, you're up next. And let's use Boom Burst. It doesn't work. Well, that's going to put a damper in my plans. Steelix. Great. This is going to be an issue. Well, this is not going according to plan. Okay. I'm going to need a focus sash on that damn executor. Toxic spikes. Let's use grassy terrain. And I guess acrobatics. Deoxys. Obama Snow. Let's try Aurora Veil. And go back to Jump Bluff. And let's set up grassy terrain. Of course we die. Well, acrobatics. Ouch. Ouch. Flygon. Rillaboom. And now I can go to Obama Snow. Great. Great, just great. Boom burst. Please don't die. Of course it died. Why wouldn't it die? This is going to be pretty nasty. Oh boy. Hey. Phew. Doesn't seem like Roserade is going to do much, to be fair. Well, let's see how Scovillain deals with this. On a grass. Camera up. Poison powder, please. Thank God for that. Flygon. Okay, back to Scovillain. Jump Luff. And use acrobatics. Thank God for Jump Luff. Well, let's try and out heal it. At least its Ice Fang isn't going to do much against me in this field. Flygon. Well, Giga Drain. Keep using it. This. Keep using Giga Drain. Jesus Christ, a Jump Luff soloed. A half-dead Jump Luff soloed the Flygon. Well, that's something. The Oxys. Well, that was pretty good actually. So, Scovillain, Abomasnow, Jump Luff, and Alolan Executor. Abomasnow. Where are you, Abomasnow, in this? It's over here. Jump Luff. Jump Luff is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Alolan Executor. And Scovillain. Where are you, Scovillain? Yeah, that's good. Well, one of the harder ones is down. Now, next up is going to be Mono Electric. Yes, I could.
Operators saw this as a new opportunity. As such, over the next decade, casinos, sports and electronic betting houses start to spring up rapidly throughout the region. According to the Romanian National Gaming Office, there are over 12,000 registered gambling venues in the country. Meanwhile, in Serbia, there are around 2,400, and in Bosnia there are well over 9.5 thousand gambling shops all over the country, which is especially concerning considering Romania has almost 6 times the population of the country, and even there the number of gambling venues is high. Today, gambling in the Balkans is one of the biggest elephants in the room, as it has become an overwhelming problem impacting society as a whole, yet very little is talked about it. In Romania, it is estimated around 12% of the population gamble annually, which makes around 2.4 million people. From 2015's data, it was calculated that out of those, there are over 100,000 people in Romania who have a serious gambling problem. However, no studies have been conducted in Romania since that year, so the number of problematic gamblers is very likely to be even greater. In Serbia, these figures are much higher. It was reported that around 31.4% of the population gambled in the last year, while over 17% gambled in the last month. It is also estimated that there are over 50,000 people with a gambling problem in Bosnia, and that the average Bosnian loses 1 month's salary, which would be around 667 euros annually gambling.
Jebi ga. Voćkice mi život upropastile.
Note that the average salary presented here is the official average presented by the government. The real average is actually lower, which makes the loss even more impactful. What's even more concerning is the age of these gamblers. The average age of a serious gambler is between 23 and 24 years. However, a lot of them start from an even younger age. Many Balkaners started gambling at the age of 13 and 14. Growing up in Serbia, it was not uncommon to see my peers go to a betting house during recess and use their lunch money, which was usually in the amount of 200 to 300 dinars, to go and buy a sports betting ticket. And although by law, these businesses cannot serve minors, more often than not, they still do. And if they're refused service, they would just stand outside of one and ask a passerby to go inside and place the bet for them, a practice that's still prevalent today. Even while I was living in Belgrade throughout the early 2020s, in my neighborhood, I'd often be asked by kids to go and place a bet for them while coming back from university. Of course, I never did, but there are plenty of people that do. In a research piece conducted by the Save the Children Foundation, it was found that approximately 1 in 7 children in Romania gamble, and that 1 out of 10 kids live in a family where one of the parents gambles. So it's without a doubt safe to say that gambling is an enormous problem. As a whole, there are several factors that contribute to such high rates in the Balkans. One of the first, and arguably most major ones, is poverty. High rates of gambling are prevalent in populations with lower earnings and higher rates of poverty, as gambling triggers adrenaline and dopamine in the prospects of potentially allowing someone to earn large sums of money from just investing a couple of euros. This effect is multiplied with people in a worse economic situation.
Laže. 7 si.
27 igrao pička.
Teška vremena, prijatelju moj, đavo ih odnio.
Da ste ti đavo na meri našli da se vadite, jel?
Ajde dečaci, ako se svađate neće ni jedan da padne.
The issue is exacerbated even more due to still lax regulation in the industry and aggressive marketing that could be argued is directed towards children. Alongside with billboards plastered all over the city promoting a betting house, if you turn on the TV, it won't take long for you to see a commercial for a casino or online gambling house or website. Furthermore, local celebrities such as musicians, internet personalities, and athletes are often paid by the gambling industry to promote their business. Thus, children seeing their idols promote such places can be extremely influential in them walking through the door of a casino. We've also seen this outside of the Balkans when English-speaking YouTubers promoted a variety of online gambling sites, including ones that dealt with video games such as Counter-Strike to their underage audiences, and the absolute scandals that came from that. But despite gambling still being at an all-time high in the Balkans, the situation is not hopeless. In both Romania and Serbia, around 40% of the profits from gambling goes to legal charities. In Serbia, the government also mandated a law that betting house employees must be educated in the signs of gambling addiction. Recently, Romania has also announced that it will tighten regulation in this industry. The country announced that there will be a ban on all gambling venues in settlements with a population under 15,000. This year as well, a bill was submitted in Bulgaria that would ban gambling advertisements online, on TV, radio, print media, and on buildings. Similarly to Romania's law, it will seek to ban slot machines in towns with a population less than 5,000. So yeah, although gambling can be fun and harmless in certain situations, in the Balkans it more often than not is anything but. So hopefully with this video I've raised your awareness a bit regarding the issue. And if you're someone that is struggling with this issue, don't be afraid to reach out and seek help. Anyways, my name is Janos and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Okay, the Dennis. Then Bell Pikachu, which is the future Ice type Pikachu. Then PhD Pikachu, which is this one. Then Libre Pikachu. Then Popstar Pikachu, which is the Fairy type Pikachu. Then Rockstar Pikachu, just the Steel type. And then regular partner Pikachu, which so far everyone is. Then Emolga. Then Plusle-Mine and Pachirisu. Okay, let's see what we can do. Well, maybe Ampharos could be useful. Explode. Problem is, what do I do against the other Pokemon? Ooh. I don't really have a weather setter here, don't I? Unless, well, even if you are. Like electric terrain, well. Sticky web could be useful, but I still don't have a way to deal with that. Annoying. Skill swap. Ui. I guess. Worst case scenario. Jesus Christ. Mono electric is a nightmare. I'll bring this one. Maybe this one. Actually, Bolton can go and do nothing for a while. Hunger switch, no. Iron barbs, no. And I'll get Plusle. Well, thank God I remembered about Plusle. And it's obviously not going to be good enough without a focus sash. Okay, Galvantula. Okay, let's see what we can do with a mono electric team. First off, Sticky Web. And now Discharge. Let's Charge Beam ourselves. Oh, of course, I forgot. Flygon. Hyper Voice. Tauros. And that should do it. Flygon again. I guess I could bring in Lantern. And use Signal Beam. Okay, thanks for that. Camerupt. Well, Plusle is here. What the? Great. Seriously? What is with that? Oh, let me guess. Lightning Rod, of course. I forgot. Well, I know that I need to change your ability. I was doing so well before that Lightning Rod did me dirty. Okay. And I'll lead with Galvantula again. Sticky Web for speed control. Okay. Flygon. Let's go explode. And use Hyper Voice. And I guess I'll use this charge. Steelix, oh boy. Okay. Flussel, you're in. Skill swap. I forgot about giving it. I forgot about giving it a focus sash. Is that it? No, I didn't forget about that. I guess great. I must have used the focus sash. I'm stupid. Otherwise I don't know what happened. But still, why would I even need a focus sash if I'm going to... Okay. Okay, let's see. Flygon, let's go explode. Come on, Lantern. Almost. Almost, come on. Great. Deoxys. Let's use Signal Beam. Okay. Camerupt. That's good. Flygon. And just Swift. Phooey. Well, that was more painful than I imagined it could be. So, Ampharos, Explode, Lantern, Electros, thank God for Levitate, and Galvantula for speed control, and Plusle for mobility swap, since I didn't have much in the way of getting rid of Sturdy any other way. Okay, Mono Psychic is next. Pulse Mr. Mime. And Pulse Hypno. Then Mach, Greninja, Pulse Mach, Greninja, Dynamax Cinderace, Umbreon Perfection, Purple Kecleon, okay, great, I need to move all of these away. And then Starmie. Then Hatterene, then Orbital, then Claydol, then Bronzong, then Mega Hypno, then Xatu, then Chimecho, then Mega Noctowl, then Delphox, Jesus Christ, what are you guys doing? Elfunks, then the two executors. Then Meowscarada. Then Espion. Then the future Wardeer, which is just a Stantler for now. Then Mega Muffin. Where is it? Then Mr. Rhyme. Then Farigarath. Then Medicham. Then Furfur Heart. Then Got It Hell. Then Musharna. Then Alolan Raichu. Then Behaim. Okay. Afterwards, Veluza. Then Grumpig. Then Rapska. And then the two Meowsticks. Then Mr. Mime. Then Lunaton and Solrock, but just let me move these first. Then Jinx, which I think I was just over there. Yeah. Then regular Kecleon. Then PhD Pikachu. Then Swoobat. And unknown. Okay. Now we can start building a team, a mono-psychic team. Okay. Well, Starmie can be pretty good. Hatterene, maybe. Question is, Claydol could also be good, but I guess I'll bring in Hypno for poison gas, and hopefully it doesn't miss. And Delphox for my starter. Let's also bring in Chimecho. Let's see how we do here. Okay, camera up. That's good. Better get this out of the way earlier. Okay. Well, that's good to know. It's faster. So I need to have a focus sash on Hypno. Well. How the hell did I live? Well, that's interesting. Now, I guess I'll get to Hatterene and use Dazzling Gleam. Okay. Steelix. Claydol. Use Earth Power. Deoxys. Let's go to Hatterene. And use Brutal Swing. Well, too bad that I can't do much about that. Power Gem, damn. At least it's very frail. And let's use Psybeam. And Hypno, because I don't care if it's going to die anyway. Okay, that's Mono Psychic done. I only use Starmie, Hatterene, Claydol, Hypno. Okay, that's good. Starmie, Hatterene, Claydol, and Hypno. That's Mono Psychic done. Now for the hardest run of this boss fight. The Mono Ice. I'm so not looking forward to this. But what can I do? Boma Snow. And then this Miss Megan Glaceon. Then Galarian Dermanitan, which I think it's broken right now. And Vanillux, which is just a Vanillish for now, because it still hasn't evolved. Level 45, Jesus Christ. Then Walrein. Then Mamoswine, which is just a Piloswine for now. Then Meowscarada. And then regular Glaceon. Then Mega Muffin. Then Aurorus. Then Satitan. Then Mr. Rhyme, which is Priv, which is just Mime Jr. for now. Then Cast Form. Then Cryogonal. Then Avalugg and Hisuian Avalugg. Then Alola Ninetales. Then Bertic. Then Crabominable. Then dugong. Then frostmoth. Then Jinx. Then Alolan Sandslash. Then regular Kecleon. Then Bell Pikachu. And then finally Delibird. Okay. Let me just move these two away. How the hell did Flygon not get moved to Monoground? Why weren't you moved to Monoground? You should go here. Okay. Mono Ice. Let's see what we can do. This is not going to be pretty. Well, Obama Snow first off. Fortunately. Maybe their Manatan. Wall Rain. Pillow Swine. Ninetales. And let's bring in Jinx too. And that should be good enough. Hopefully things will go smoothly. Seriously? You survived at 1 HP. Deoxys, okay. Okay. Tauros. Hopefully yours. Okay, that's good. Camerupt. Well, Obama must know you're here for a reason. The hill melted away. Oh, great. Just great. The hill melted away. Whew. Do you get skill swap by chance? No. Egg moves. No. Tutor moves. Okay, so there is a skill swap. The problem is I don't know where it is. Maybe the Reborn. Tutor. Move tutor. Skill. Oh great. It's after 7th Street. Yikes. After Rodimus. Any other way to get it? TM. Is it a TM? I kind of doubt it. Fool. Let me check my Pokegear then. Not pulse text field notes. Burning field, no, but superheated field, is that it? No, I don't think so. It's it might be superheated field. Yeah, I think this is the one. Blizzard. Okay. So I can terminate it by using Blizzard. Do I know Blizzard? No, not here. Do I know Blizzard here? No. Well, I have an idea. Let's terminate the field first. Okay, thank God. Camera up. Thank God for that. Now the question is, who will I bring in? Okay, Steelix. Shit. Pillow Swine. Ouch. High horsepower. Thank God, Pillow Swine. Okay, Jinx, you should be able to handle Tauros just fine. Yep. Flygon. Pillow Swine. Ice Fang should be able to do it. Yup. And next up is going to be Deoxys. Well, I have Signal Beam. Just the most cheesy of strategies. That's what you missed. Just the most cheesy of strategies. So, let me just rewind. Ok, deci Walrein aici are Blizzard. Și m-am uitat, bă, dar cum Dumnezeu, ce să fac eu cu acest field effect, superheated field. Și m-am uitat aici și destroyed by these moves, Blizzard, Glaciate și Sub-Zero Slammer. Am scăpat de acel field effect, pur și simplu. Cred că e tocmai ca să ne facă viața nouă mai ușor la cei cu Mono Ice, că altfel, da. Altfel era un dezastru. Bine că am acces la detaliile astea. Hai să vedem atunci ceva muzică sau ceva interesant. Te interesează politicile externe? Primit o prăjitură cu vișine, e bună. Să văd. Ai ceva... Vrei ceva muzică sau vrei ceva video care... Ne, poate îți place, poate nu-ți place. Mai interesez și eu de lumea externă. De la Living Ironically in Europe. The History of Romania, I guess. Aia o vrei. Că parcă ai spus ceva de România. De videoclip de România. Acela îl vrei. Deci presupun că e da. Ok.
This is Romania. One of the most iconic countries in Europe, and more often than not, the butt of many jokes. But that's only scratching the surface, as this country and people have so much more than meets the eye. And to uncover that, sit back, relax, hit that subscribe button, and come with me to the past. The story of Romania started some 13.8 billion years ago, when extremely hot cosmic particles started expanding and forming new things, such as atoms, stars, galaxies. And about 40,000 years ago, the first human settlement in Romania. Throughout the early ages of human settlement in Romania, agriculture and livestock farming based settlements became commonplace, with numerous cultures springing up because of this, such as the Hamanja people, who gave us some of the best examples of surviving Neolithic art today. By the Iron Age, Greek settlers seeking to get away from their cursed lands of unpaid loans and homoerotic relations took to the seas and went to settle new lands around the Black Sea coast. Upon founding a few port cities on the coast of present-day Romania, they came into contact with a people group they called the Getae. Now, we don't exactly know where the Getae came from, nor how they got here. As far as we know, the spaghetti monster personally created them out of pasta and meatballs, but it is estimated that they were probably some sort of Thracians. What we do know, however, is that their neighbors esteemed them as expert archers and fierce warriors. So, that's something at least. Yet, today, in this part of the world, the Getae are better known as the Dacians. By the first millennium BC, the
Mega
Dacians became the
Septile.
dominating power in Romania thanks to their most notable king, Burebista, who unified the various Dacian tribes into a cohesive force eager to expand its territory. This expansion, however, knocked it right into another expansionist regime, the Roman Empire, and the Dacians and Romans became happy to see each other as much as a Mexican cartel and the DEA. As they both seek to expand their influence and empire, border skirmishes arose and slowly evolved into a more serious conflict, which later came to be known as the Dacian Wars. The first of the Dacian Wars was led by the Roman Emperor Domitian, who cockily marched the Roman army over the Danube into Dacia, thinking the war would be a piece of cake, only to be ambushed and lose 2 of his legions. Yet, that did not stop Rome from coming in again a year later. After the empire recuperated its army and marched their asses across the Danube again, the two fought multiple battles. Sometimes the Romans would win, other times not so much. Ultimately, every nerd's favorite empire proclaimed victory, and a tense peace followed, where the Dacians promised to behave themselves and pay tribute to Rome, filling their pockets with precious gold, silver, iron, and whatever the ancient European civilizations considered their equivalent of Bitcoin at the time. However, after some time, the Dacian king Decebal decided that if the Romans wanted their own money, they could get it themselves instead of mooching off from the Dacian people. And instead of sending their precious gold to Rome, it would be better off if they spent it on fortifying Dacia's own borders and defenses. Another one of Decebal's IQ 200 ideas for improving Dacia's finances and making some extra coin was to raid and pillage the border towns in the nearby Roman
Cine ne audă zice că
which,
suntem nebuni.
absolutely in no way whatsoever could ever backfire. It backfired. By 101 AD, Dacian disobedience had gotten a little too cute, and after suffering one too many raids, Rome's new emperor, Trajan, crossed into Dacia and made his way to its capital, burning every village, field, and anything and everything resembling a Dacian. The two armies clashed fiercely, inflicting heavy losses to one another. However, nothing would be able to stop Trajan's fury. 2 Dacian wars later, despite the Dacians putting up a good fight, Dacia fell, and Decebal, alongside several of his nobles, committed suicide as Roman armies marched across their previous empire. And so, starting from 106 AD, Dacia became a Roman province. The war with Rome completely destroyed its infrastructure, and many roads, farms, bridges, and cities had to be rebuilt. And seeing as Trajan had enslaved and deported potentially up to 500,000 Dacians, Dacia needed to be repopulated as well. Thus, the residents from all over the Roman Empire were moved in to work on the previously devastated by war lands and rebuild the province from scratch. With their arrival, the new migrants in Dacia also brought their Latin language with them, effectively Romanizing Dacia and making it an indispensable Roman province. Now, after the Romans took over Dacia, you'd think there would finally be peace and prosperity, right? Fat chance. This is the history of Romania, after all. Soon after Dacia's integration into Rome, raids from barbarian, Germanic, and free Dacian tribes became a regular occurrence, and the soldiers essentially had to play whack-a-mole with the amount of raids they were getting. By the late 3rd century, this ultimately became too much for the Roman army to handle, and they had no other choice but to pull out of the province. Yet, despite only being around for 150 years, the Latin language stuck around for good. And to the pleasure or dismay of many, Romania was canonized as a family member of the Latin-speaking world. However, back in the medieval ages, finding out whom you were related to wasn't the easiest task. Not because they didn't have good bookkeeping, nor the knowledge of genealogy, but because Gepids, Huns, Avars, Bulgars, and Slavs, who all either went through the region as your typical raider does, or settled it. During this time period, modern-day Romanian territories were either under the control of the Avars or Bulgars. At the same time, early Christianity also began to spread throughout the land, as Byzantine missionaries went through the barbarian lands attempting to put them on the righteous path of believing in Jesus Christ and substituting meat for fish on Fridays. Throughout the early medieval ages, Romania as we know it today was slowly starting to form, as people from all across Europe and afar entered the country's territory and began to intermingle with the Latin-speaking populace of the previously Dacian lands. With these migrations, the Romanized
The-
language, culture, and traditions spread to all parts of the future country's territories. By the end of the 9th century, everyone's favorite group of people, the Hungarians, made it to the Carpathian Basin and steadily began to conquer Transylvania. In typical Hungarian fashion, they knew that Transylvania would be great if it wasn't for all those pesky Romanians running around acting like they owned them.
Ok, fac o pauză aici ca să... Și o să revenim după acest Mono Dragon. Ok, let's see how Mono Dragon is going to fare in this field and against this huge boss. Okay, let's sit down now. Not time to poison it. Yep. Thank God for focus ashes, because against this you definitely need it. Sure, let's bring in Charizard again. I can't do much against it. Draco Meteor. And it's going to go again. And let's kill it. Okay. And Flygon. Well, the question is, which is faster among my dragons? Oh, for crying out loud. Flygon versus Flygon. Well, let's see. Ah, I guess my Flygon is faster. Steelix. Well, I'm going to need to use Dig against this one. Okay. And now just Tauros is remaining. And that's it. So, what did we use? We used Charizard, Skrelp, and Flygon. Well, considering how few fully evolved Pokemon we have in this category, I'll take it as a win. Flygon and Skrelp. Ok. Thanks. Și acum putem reveni un pic pe română.
Place. So, in the 11th century, King Giza invited Germanic peoples from what are today the Low Countries to settle in the fertile farmlands of Transylvania in exchange for protecting the easternmost frontier of the Hungarian border. Although they were tasked with protecting the kingdom, they nevertheless failed quite miserably at the one job they had when the Mongols showed up in the mid-13th century and ravaged the entirety of the Hungarian kingdom like a rabid pit bull at a playground. While Transylvania was Wallachia succumbed to Europe's second favorite group of people, the Bulgarians. The province spent several hundred years from the late 7th century until the late 10th century under the Bulgarian Empire, until Wallachia too became an on and off vassal state of the Hungarian crown. This vassalage lasted up until King Bessarab I thoroughly trounced the Hungarian army at the Battle of Posada in the mid-14th century. Upon mogging the Hungarians, Bessarab then modeled his new kingdom after the Byzantines, making it into a religious autocracy. After that, he then also began building a strong defensive army, just in case if the Hungarians or Bulgarians needed another lesson to be taught on who's the real Sigma male here. He also established the use of Turkish Slavonic in the Romanian branch of Orthodox Christianity, which forever doomed Romania in the effort of beating the being Slavic allegations. During this time, Moldova was also emerging into existence, although at first as a Hungarian vassal state meant to protect the kingdom's easternmost border. Yet, in the mid-1300s, the voivode Bogdan I defeated the army of the Hungarian king Lajos I and so secured Moldovan independence that turned it into, at this time, the second independent Romanian principality. But, as you know, this is the Balkans, and no one can really have nice things. And so, upon reaching the 1400s, an existential threat to Europe's existence emerged: the Ottoman Empire, and its seemingly inevitable march into Christian Europe. As the Turks were about to as popular as a foot rash during this era, we saw many of Romania's most historic national heroes arise in an effort to fight the Muslim invaders. As Wallachia fell to Ottoman influence in the beginning of the 1400s, not long after, Wallachia's circumstances produced perhaps the most famous and lovable Romanian of all, Prince Vlad III, aka Vlad Țepeș, aka
I'll put
Vlad
it afterwards,
Turks
okay?
themselves into the kebabs, the Impaler. Child Vlad was kept as a hostage in the Ottoman royal courts to ensure his father Vlad II, the voivode of Wallachia, would stay loyal to the
Let's
Turks.
watch this
As
one
an adult,
for now.
he was
I'm
sent
kind
back
of
to
liking the
Wallachia
history
to rule
lesson.
in the hopes
And then
that
we'll
he'd be a
watch the
well-behaved little lad
video
who would sit
you
down,
provided.
shut up, eat his kufte, and pay the Ottomans their yearly tribute.
Okay.
Instead, upon reaching
And
Wallachia,
minus
Vlad
crafty.
invited the Turks to fist themselves with a pineapple. This, of course, didn't sit well with the Ottoman Sultan. So the Ottomans sent an incursion force into Wallachia to put down his rebellion. However, upon reaching Wallachia, Vlad made sure that the Turks wouldn't go hungry, as he created a forest of 20,000 shish kebab people he had impaled from a local town. While this scared the ever-living Christ out of the Ottomans, it ultimately did very little to end the Turkish domination of Wallachia. While all this was happening in Wallachia, another great historical figure was rising in Moldova, Stefan III, aka Stefan the Great. Being flanked by the empires of the Hungarians, Ottomans, and Poles on all sides, unsurprisingly, his reign was marked by non-stop battles. The Battle of Vaslui was deemed as his crowning achievement, where he managed to defeat an Ottoman army 3 times larger than his own and gained the title of Champion of Christ from the Pope because of that. Stefan would only end up losing 2 of his 50 battles, which is even more impressive considering the madman was usually outnumbered. He's also remembered for erecting a monastery for each victory, many of which are still some of Romania's most beloved sites to visit in the country to this day. While alive, Stefan excelled at enduring Moldovan autonomy like Vlad in Wallachia, and once he died, Moldova, like Wallachia, fell under Ottoman dominion. The 3 principalities held out against the Ottomans as long as possible, but by the time the Kingdom of Hungary lost the Battle of Mohacs against the Turks in the 16th century, and with it lost Transylvania, all 3 of the principalities became vassal states of the Ottoman Empire, albeit with some degree of autonomy. However, in the beginning of the 17th century, Prince Mihai II of Wallachia managed, through both adept political maneuvering and decisive battle victories, to unite the 3 principalities under his
Păi nu
rule.
cred că mai avem
Although
oricum
it was
mult.
only for under a year until he
Cred
was
poate
taken over
terminăm
by
până la
and
11.
Habsburgs. Nevertheless,
Poate
A for effort.
11
However
jumate, ceva de
short-lived,
genul
this
ăsta.
unification was pivotal to
Că
the
nu mai avem
Romanian
decât
identity.
Dark și
From now
Fairy.
on, whichever
Deci cred că
principality
terminăm
lived in, the
până
Romanian
atunci.
dream of unification was
Și după aceea
ignited in
vedem.
people's hearts. Unlike
Ce
in other
facem?
parts of the Balkans, Ottoman influence in Transylvania was
Megamorphin.
rather short-lived. After the Ottomans did one too many invasions into Europe and suffered a devastating defeat at the Battle of Vienna, Austria was able to
Da,
recover much
da.
of its lost Hungarian lands and integrate them
Ia
under
pe
its
Twitch
own
sau pe
crown.
YouTube,
From
the
this point
stream.
on, the culture of the Romanians in Transylvania took a decisive Austro-Hungarian turn, while Wallachia and Moldova, still under Turkish control, went a different path. As time went on, the Ottomans decided they couldn't really be bothered to properly govern Wallachia and Moldavia. I mean, would you? Have you seen Craiova and Vaslui? I rest my case, Your
okay.
Honor. So, by the late 17th century, they sent the Fanriots, Orthodox Greeks from Constantinople, to have someone rule in their place who they could trust as their voivodes of Moldavia and Wallachia. The idea with this governance was that the Orthodox locals would respond better to taking orders from rulers who were Orthodox themselves, rather than from some guy in Istanbul who wears an onion for a hat and has made out of pork as his kryptonite.
Florida
While
României.
this added some Greek influence to Romanian culture, the fanriots nevertheless were pretty uniformly despised for their corruption and exploitation of the local populations. During one of the numerous Russo-Turkish wars in the 1700s, when Russian forces marched into the Ottoman territories of Wallachia and Moldavia,
Am fost acolo.
the Romanians initially were relieved that someone powerful was finally coming to rescue them from those bothersome Greeks.
E exagerat. Adică am văzut chestii mai what the fuck în statul Kentucky. Atâta doar că știrile de acolo nu sunt așa de cenzurate în Florida. De aceea ies toate prostiile la iveală. Că dacă te duci în orice alt stat au reguli de astea de cenzură. Florida nu are. Am fost și în Ohio. Stai așa un pic să văd. Interactive map. Nu Genshin, doamne. Interactive map world or USA. Hai, deodată încarcă-te. Interactive visited states map, cred că aia e. Băi, dar ce greu merge netul când dau stream. Haide. Acum îți... da, am văzut mimul cu Ohio. Îți fac acum o hartă a statelor în care am fost eu. New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts și cred că atât. A fost și în Tennessee. Și în astea două, da. Și orice căcat numai nu haia se întâmplă. Da. N-am de gând să te contrazic la faza asta. Nu știu dacă am fost în Indiana, că am fost chiar la granița dintre Kentucky și Ohio o vreme. Da, na. Celelalte state știu sigur că am fost. Deci dacă te uiți pe linkul ăla. Ok. Să revenim un pic. Să putem termina înainte de stream-ul respectiv.
This change in governance was widely welcomed by the Romanians because, hey, how bad could rule under the Russians be? Am I right? Right?
Am fost. Odată când am fost la vreo 6 ani, deci chiar 6 sau 7 ani, deci chiar imediat după 9/11 am fost. Nu e stream, dar ok. Nu știu la ce te referi aici în privința asta. These children then later on came back eager to share their brand new Western revolutionary ideas regarding independence, nationalism, and a unified cultural identity. And so, inspired by various European revolutions making the waves around the mid-1800s, in particular in France, the Romanians fed up with being pushed around by Austria-Hungary, the Ottomans, and the Russians, initiated revolutions in each principality to liberate Wallachia, Moldova, and Transylvania, and to achieve unification. The Turks, Russians, and Hungarians proceeded to react exactly to these uprisings as you'd expect, and each revolution was brutally put down almost immediately. However, despite the brutal suppression of the people, the romantic ideas of nationalism and unification truly took a firm hold in the public imagination, and from now on, the Romanian identity was synonymous with the unification of its three principalities. Throughout the same time period, the Russians and Turks yet again went to war for the millionth time, with Russia finally withdrawing its troops from Romania. Am mai văzut, da.
Great Britain threatened to declare war on it if it didn't leave the country.
Nu că am văzut multe pe YouTube la viața mea.
to support its unification. The Paris Congress decided to allow for the creation of the United Principalities
Cred că
of
de prin
Moldova
2008
and
sau...
Wallachia. However, the two
Cred al doilea
had
an de YouTube,
separate
atunci
governments,
mi-am făcut eu
separate
un
rulers,
canal,
and
dar
separate
numai așa de
legislative
a avea
bodies,
eu
which,
subscriptions.
What did that even mean? You can be united, but you have to be separate. Bro, like, just say no in that case. God damn. In response, Wallachia and Moldova simply elected the same man as the ruling prince of both countries, Alexandru Ioan Cuza. And
Liburn.
presto, France was given the middle finger back, and the Romanian United Principalities were created. A minor unification, if you will, and still technically under the Ottoman domain, but a unification nonetheless. Luckily, in the late 1800s, during yet again another Russo-Turkish war, the Turks got fully pushed back to Constantinople and were pushed out of Romania for good. In response, Romania promptly declared its independence, and finally the great powers officially recognized the Moldovan-Wallachian Union as the independent state of Romania. And so, in May 1881, at the coronation of King Carol I, the Kingdom of Romania was
Hai că le
born.
mut
Romania
mai
now had
încolo un pic.
Wallachia, Moldova, and Dobruja finally united, and so began a stable period of modernization and economic growth. However,
Nu-i problema.
soon enough, World War I
More
broke
pico.
out. Like much of Europe's royalty during the time, Romania's King Carol was of inbred German stock. Apparently, he had signed a secret treaty of alliance with Germany and Austria-Hungary back in 1883, which the political elites who wanted to ally with the Entente, along with their forever BFF France, were absolutely thrilled to discover. As a compromise, they decided to try neutrality. Ultimately, France promised that if Romania allied with them, it would be fully united with Transylvania, Bukovina, and Bessarabia. And so, Romania entered the war on the side of the Entente, only for it to be overcome by the Central Powers and being forced to surrender massive chunks of territory to the likes of Hungary and Bulgaria. Luckily, they were able to re-enter the war on the Entente side literally one day before Germany surrendered. And so, with such cheese tactics, Romania emerged on the winning side and got to share the spoils of victory.
Da, practic sunt mai mulți,
Carving up Hungary, baby!
sunt foarte
And you
mulți.
get a piece of
Pentru că
Hungary.
pe
And
viitor
you get a piece of
o să am diverse
Everyone gets a
metode,
piece of
diverse
Hungary. And alongside getting back everything it lost previously due to its brainiac move of attacking
diverse
far
forme.
larger enemy,
Până una alta nu am
the
acces la acele forme.
much more. By the end of the First World War, the victors
Da, pe
decided
viitor
to
o să
get
am.
Hungary, who they saw as responsible for starting this whole pointless war in the first place,
De-aia sunt așa
the
de
spanking
mulți.
of a lifetime, via treaty after treaty after another treaty after, you guessed it, a treaty? Well, some of the post-war treaties are a bit controversial to say the least. Romania managed to emerge a clear winner. From now former Hungarian territory, it gained Transylvania, as well as some of Banat, Crișana, Maramuresh, northern Bukovina, and it reclaimed Bessarabia, all of which effectively doubled in size and greatly increased its population. And so, on December 1st, 1980, Romania achieved full unification and Greater Romania was born. Finally, a centuries-long dream of the possibility of a distinct, cohesive, and united cultural identity without the forced influence of a foreign power would now be within the people's
Despre
grasp,
Transilvania,
and the people
zici.
rejoiced.
Hai să vedem care este ăla.
However, as great as it was for the Romanian cultural identity, the political situation wasn't so stable, with this time period being marked by ethnic conflicts, constant changes in the government, and the rise of fascist and authoritarian movements. In the decade between 1930 and 1940 alone, Romania experienced 25 different governments, with the recently launched Iron Guard, Romania's most prominent fascist party, contributing heavily to this instability. The Iron
E
Guard,
destul de
also known as
departe,
the Legion
destul
of
de
Archangel
mai de
Michael,
mult sau
was
unde e?
virulently anti-capitalist,
Why Romania and Hungary hate each other? Ăla o fi.
anti-Western ideals, specifically those annoying parts about human
Sau
rights.
mi-l poți
They
linkui tu
present
și apoi
themselves to the people
o să-l pun
as
eu
a
după
pious,
link.
orthodox peasant championing alternative to the out-of-touch corrupt elites, and capitalized on Romania's at the time rabid anti-Semitism to recruit by promising to take care of all those job-stealing Jews. They had no qualms whatsoever about utilizing political assassinations, bombings and other acts of terrorism against the state to get their way. And
Okay. Mono Dark. Let's see how we fare against this team. Tauros. Well, of course I expected Tauros to come in at some point since it's a fighting type. But I have Jumpluff. Deoxys. Let's go for Houndoom again. Okay, so I can't use that one, okay. But it's frail anyway. Let's try Grimmsnarl. And use Play Rough now. Oh, of course I got burned. Great. Camerupt. Whoever it is going to die. It's not like it's going to matter. I just need to have it die to the sandstorm. And what else is there? I don't know. Let's get in Grimmsnarl for a fake out. Ah, it's this one. Okay. Dusclops. I prefer Curse. And Will-O-Wisp. And I guess we can go for Hex now. And that's it. Oh, that's Mono Dark. Okay.
made no secret of their aim to ally themselves with Nazi Germany as soon as possible. Throughout the 30s, tensions and instability continued to grow, and once
Grimmsnarl,
Romania learned
Dusk
of the
Noir,
existence of the secret
Houndoom,
Nazi-Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact to carve up Eastern Europe
Jumpluff.
themselves, they knew perfectly well what was going to happen to them. The best case scenario was that only Bessarabia would be taken by the Soviets. And so, of course, they proceeded to enter full-on panic mode. While Romania wanted to remain loyal to France, its longtime protector and benefactor, due to being surrounded by Nazis on one side and the Soviet Union on the other, King Carol II decided to remain neutral and hope for the best. This worked just as great as it did in World War I, and once again, big chunks of its territory were quickly occupied by the likes of Hungary.
O să continuăm imediat după ce se termină asta.
The public outrage over the loss of territory, specifically Transylvania, to Hungary, led to Carol's abdication and exile in September of 1940, and his young son, Mihai, was crowned in his place. However, during this time, the real power in Romania actually belonged to General Ion Antonescu, who had been appointed with dictatorial powers by King Carol II, in hopes he would rule with the Iron Guard and secure some popular support. Instead, Antonescu crushed the Iron Guard and seized total power with Adolf Hitler's approval. Once secure in his position of absolute power, he then proceeded to go on such a killing spree against Jews, gypsies, foreigners, dissidents, and political enemies that even the Nazis looked over at what he was doing and told him that he should probably turn it down a bit and maybe, just maybe, try being a little less cruel. Similarly to one other country in the Balkans, Antonescu, by now absolute dictator, officially brought Romania into the war on the Axis' side in 1940 and proceeded to provide equipment, oil, and massive amounts of troops to the Eastern Front. Romania then proceeded to get decimated by the Allied bombings, incapacitate its valuable oil fields, as well as by the land invasions conducted by the Soviets. While fighting on the Eastern Front, they lost more than 200,000 men. Rather than coming to aid its ally, Hitler instead focused on exporting as much fuel and food out of Romania as possible to feed and fuel his armies, leaving Romania to lay in a state of chaotic limbo until August 1944, when King Mihai decided to change his country's trajectory by force. By this time, the upcoming Soviet conquest of Romania was just a matter of time, as they were already The common knowledge was that Germany would lose. Romania was being destroyed and its people being slaughtered. Throughout the war, the now 22-year-old King Mihai had been forced to sit on the sidelines as a mindless figurehead, sitting there like a Ken doll for ceremonial purposes, while Antonescu's government actually led the country. However, Mihai had been meeting secretly with the many secret pro-Allied politicians, army officers, security officials, and other elites. So, in August 1944, Mihai called Antonescu in for a private meeting and informed him that from here on, Romania would join the Allies and withdraw all troops from the Axis alliance, or else. General Antonescu refused, and so in marched Mihai's loyalist troops to arrest them, while the rest of his loyal security and military apparatus quickly and successfully enacted a full-on coup. King Mihai then proceeded to give a radio broadcast in which he announced Romania's alliance with the Allied powers. To do that, he had to sign an armistice of unconditional surrender to the USSR, whose terms were almost unilaterally dictated by the Soviet Union only. From then on, Romania was a part of the Allied powers, and even joined in with the Soviet army in April 1945 as they marched towards Germany to secure the Allied victory. Ultimately, Romania emerged in the winning team, just as it did in World War I, by again realizing nothing else but cheese tactics. Unfortunately, the whole letting the USSR dictate the terms of the armistice meant that from now on, they were to be occupied by the Soviet Union as a form of protection, and from that point on, the Soviets were in charge of absolutely everything. In the hopes of attracting Western sympathy for what he knew Romania's fate under a Soviet occupation would be, King Mihai appointed a pro-Western government. The Soviets installed Petru Groza as prime minister, basically so they'd have someone to look the other way as they committed full-scale looting of the state. Alongside this, the Soviet Union awarded itself with the full annexation of Bessarabia, attaching it to their previously annexed territory of Transnistria, and forming the Moldovan Soviet Socialist Republic. And it's not an exaggeration to say that this was one of the biggest sources of historical trauma for Romania, as it was powerless to stop Moscow from essentially kidnapping millions of its citizens and constructing an artificial non-Romanian identity for Moldova, a territory that was an essential pillar in the construction of the Romanian cultural and historical identity. Almost immediately upon the installation of the pro-Soviet government, King Mihai refused to sign or support any other decrees, effectively going on strike. Groza's response was to exile the king and abolish the monarchy completely. And so, Romania stepped into its socialist era. A few years later, after Groza seized power, he was replaced by Gheorghe Gheorghiu, who in contrast wasn't a hardline Stalinist and focused on gradually distancing Bucharest from Moscow's orbit. He even opened up Western development and economic aid. Yet, by the mid-60s, Dej kicked the bucket, possibly from polonium poisoning in his tea, or maybe even from the chunk of Romanian mined radioactive refined uranium he kept on his desk as a paperweight. I prefer to think its cause was the uranium, because that's absolutely hilarious. However, what's not hilarious was his successor, who was none other than Nicolae Ceausescu. Believe it or not, at first, Ceausescu was actually quite well liked. It helped that he built upon Gheorghiu Dej's policies of relative independence from the Soviet Union, even being the only Warsaw Pact country who refused to participate in the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia, even publicly condemning it. Nevertheless, after Ceausescu
Bine,
came
să știi
into
de
office for
ce
some
de căcat
time,
a fost în
Romania's
trecutul să
economy
nu-l
grew,
repetăm, că
which
dar
led
toți comuniștii
the
din ziua de
West
azi vor să
to
repete
hopefully assume
istoria,
that
da?
Ceausescu's
Mai ales în
leadership
state.
would be more
Îți dai
akin
seama
to
ce nebunie e în state cu
Yugoslavia,
comuniștii.
more third way in nature and less of a batshit insane
Au vrut să mă bage și pe mine la...
But
cum ne se zice, la un curs de ăsta de indoctrinare politică cât am fost în state. Eu zis că, bă, duceți-vă dracului. Le-am spus mai frumos, dar să înțeles mesajul. Groază de comunism în, la nivel de universitate. Să-ți dai seama ce e acolo.
Tens of thousands of people were forcibly displaced, while any sort of localized control over anything was abolished, and anything with any sort of chain of command was centralized to Bucharest. Because with a country this size that needs 10 hours by train to reach one big city from the other, who needs a decentralized nation? Ceausescu's trip instilled in him the need for a dramatic increase in Romania's population, so he initiated Decree 770, an absolute draconian law on family planning to ensure the maximum number of children from each woman as possible. Abortion was outlawed, monthly gynecological checks were mandatory, birth control was illegal, and childless couples had to pay an additional monthly tax of at least 10% of their incomes. As a result, this generation was by far the largest in Romanian history, and colloquially was named Decreței. And unfortunately, a great deal of these children were born to families who had almost no way to care for them, which subsequently forced thousands of kids to live as orphans on the streets and sewers, or in rundown, understaffed, underfinanced orphanages where abuse and mistreatment was more than just common. Ceausescu's trip to China and North Korea also got him thinking about how he could most properly get the love and attention he deserved. So he made for himself the most creepy and pervasive personality cult possible, in which he was the genius of the Carpathians, and all
Okay, Mono Ferry. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I forgot. Mono Ferry. Sigur că am tot uit să-l pun în ordinea care trebuie. Hey, Mono Ferry, let's see how this goes. Okay, camera up. Let's go Sylveon for a skill swap. Ok. Știi că ți-am dat acel videoclip să-l pui după, dar poți pune balada depresie de către Codrin înainte de acel videoclip, că m-a luat depresie la ce căcaturi am aflat. Balada depresiei, ok. Teofile Mihail? No, rap battle Codrin versus Echo. Ok. Hai că așteptăm un pic.
Eu sunt în depresie, mă. Eu mă pula mea. Bă, hai mă, cred că am găsit o modalitate să scăpăm de depresie, bă. Eu mă pula mea. Bă, mă, pula mea, ai încredere în mine, mă. Omoară-te, îi un sfat, nu un vers. Nu însemni nimic pentru univers. Trec zile triste, fug din calendar. Stau în fața geamului spart, așteptând să dispar. Iară sunt depresie, iară plâng pe gresie. Vă rog, ridicați-mă, n-o zic pentru atenție. Plâng, 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 am doar pită cu pateu. Plâng, plâng, plâng și merge greu la WC-ul. Plâng, plâng, plâng și mai mere în cotură. Plâng, 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 m-o adopta mama natură. Omoară-te, e un sfat, nu-n vers. Nu însemn nimic pentru univers. Și din nou o să plâng toată ziua la bancuri cu bulă. Și tu și măta, haide să plângem toți împreună. Omoară-te, e un sfat, nu-n vers. Zici că e colindă. Nu însemn nimic pentru univers. O să plâng toată ziua la bancuri cu bulă. Haide să plângem toți împreună. Am 22 de ani de viață, 20 de ani de plâns. O să plâng și în sicriu să știu că mi-a ajuns. Am plâns în somn odată și era să mă înnec. Plâng de 3 ori pe zi și încă vreau să mă întrec. Deși-s foarte gras, nu mai am apetit. Viața nu-i faină, nu știu cine te-a mințit. O să plâng toată ziua, nu aveți ce-mi face. M-am trezit depresiv de 20 de ani încoace. Sechele, traume, tulburare psihică, spasme, dezamăgiri, depresie clinică, atac de panică, dispoziție depresivă, apetit scăzut și vinovăție excesivă. Sechele, traume, tulburare psihică, spasme, dezamăgiri, depresie clinică, atac de panică, dispoziție depresivă, apetit scăzut și vinovăție excesivă. Plâng, 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 dă-mi, Doamne, o supă. Plâng, 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 să pot să mă cac după. Și plâng, 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 plâng atât de mult încât plâng, 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 ce bine-mi vine ștrangul la gât.
Well, that was something. Let's return. Mono Fairy, thirst times the charm, maybe. Let's skill swap this Camerupt. And if only I had a quick attack, but hopefully Altaria is still quick enough. Yeah, it's quick enough. Thank God. Now Steelix. Well, Grimmsnarl. Let's hope that it can do some damage. Did some damage. Now it's up to Altaria to deal with it. And it's not going to deal with it very well, but at least Ice Fang is weakened in this field. Deoxys. Well, let's go Duxbun. Crunch. Flygon. Play rough. Tauros. Altaria, I hope to God that you're enough. Nope, it's not enough. But I did weaken it a bit. Duxbun, maybe. Nope. Ninetales. Hex. Oof, finally! We're done. And this, I've seen this cutscene so many times. We're just going to skip it. Oof. Grimmsnarl. Altaria. Sylveon. All the Ninetales. And Duxbun. Am I missing anybody? No. That was it. Because I haven't used Hatterene during that battle. Phew, well, I guess now we can just listen to some stuff until we raid out to YouTube. Let me just make this the music and
loving, infallible father, and the population of Romania were his children. His wife, Elena, was also truly a feminist icon. Near illiterate, yet somehow obtained a PhD in chemistry, and she was a loving mother of the nation, yet still a working woman and brilliant scientist. Barbie had nothing on her. And unless you wanted to be thrown into custody of the Securitatea and disappear like tens of potentially hundreds of thousands of others, you toe these lines, or else. Shockingly, with policies like these, it turned out the genius of the Carpathians actually knew nothing about running anything, and anyone who knew better and spoke out got a bullet to the head. And so, Nicolae and Elena Ceausescu single-handedly reshaped Romania from the ground up. Bucharest.
Păi da, dar mai avem... nu mai avem decât o jumătate de oră. Nu e ca și cum va veni cineva să verifice ce se întâmplă. Că practic așteptăm numai să înceapă stream-ul acela de pe YouTube și pe aia plecăm.
While on paper Romania's economy was technically growing, its living standards still remained the lowest in Europe, save maybe Albania. Due to the earlier good behavior in the eyes of the West, Ceausescu had racked up debts with the IMF worth $13 billion by the late 70s. Thus, in the early 1980s, Ceausescu decided it was time to reorganize Romania's economy with the single purpose of paying off its debts. From now on, anything and everything of value and use would be sold off for foreign hard currency used to pay off the debt. Domestically, oil, gas, and food were severely rationed and prices of daily necessities skyrocketed.
Lucrez un pic la Excelul meu.
Living, which was already not great, fell by 40%, and there were massive cuts to every program of government spending. Although these cuts didn't affect the demanding construction project of insanity in Bucharest, the People's Palace. Ceausescu knew that Romania at the time, one of the poorest countries in Europe, needed the biggest, heaviest building in the world to be the seat of its government. Thousands of volunteers likely died while constructing this socialist dystopian eyesore that has over 1,000 rooms, 20 kilometers of secret tunnels, 18 stories, 9 above ground and 9 below. While Romania's people were starving, having been put on low-calorie diets so more food could be exported, the Ceausescus decided to allocate 2 billion euros to the construction and sourcing of quality materials such
da.
as white marble,
Am
crystal, and luxurious
stai așa un
textiles.
pic să-ți
Anyone
dau
who suggested
acces
even
la
mildly that
un
perhaps some of this money could be used to feed, clothe, or heat the starving populace could be either shot dead on the street as an example or disappeared without a word to their family. Credit where credit is due, technically, the plan
Anyone
worked,
with
and
the
Romania
link,
paid off its
viewer,
debts by the end of the
copy
80s.
link.
But shockingly, the Romanian population was getting pretty darn
Și
mad.
îți dau
By
acces
this
să te
time,
uiți.
protests were
Și
already
poți să vezi.
starting to spring up here and there, and had
Da,
to be
sunt foarte
subdued
multe
by the
tuneluri.
Securitatea, Romania's secret police. However,
Numai că-s
this
tuneluri
only
de astea
continued
foarte
to fuel
înguste.
fire. In 1989, riots began when in Timișoara, the Securitatea tried to arrest a popular Hungarian priest who openly opposed the demolition of churches and forced deportation of villagers into more urban areas. Instead of giving him up, massive crowds formed alongside his residence, blocking the police from entering. Initially,
Na,
this
vezi acolo
protest
pe
was
Discord.
simply over a single issue. However, after decades of cruel mistreatment, more and more people started to join in, and the protest quickly became against the government itself. Soon, crowds began to riot, and the army was called in and then proceeded to massacre hundreds of civilians. In a desperate PR stunt, Nicolae organized a mass rally thinking it would garner him support, but instead, the crowd heckled and jeered him.
Acestei mari manifestări populare din București, considerând aceasta ca o
which then sparked the police and military to attack the rally attendees as well. Within a matter of days, civilians all over the country rose up against the regime, and even the army switched sides. The Ceausescus tried to flee, but were subsequently arrested and immediately put on trial for crimes against humanity, where they were found guilty and were executed live on television on Christmas Day 1989. After the Ceausescus were dealt with, Romania decided to embrace capitalism. Like any post-Soviet state, the 90s were a very rocky transition period for Romania, and it struggled to find its footing when immediately transitioning from a centralized and pre-planned economy to the free market. Unsurprisingly, corruption and inefficiency plagued its economic prospects, and unfortunately, it was quite a bumpy ride, with its politics often more resembling playground fights than true political discourse. The country wasn't really able to truly start shaking away its past ghosts of communism until it started to fully integrate within the EU, first by joining NATO in 2004, and then by joining the EU proper in 2007. However, since joining the EU, it's safe to say that Romania is one of Europe's major success stories, as its dramatic and consistent economic progress can attest. Its quality
Ia,
of
te-ai
life,
uitat pe
income
Discord
level, and
la
expected
DM-urile
life
tale.
expectancy have all risen meteorically, thanks to Romanians quite literally taking back their country by force. And although things aren't perfect in Romania, the future is still looking much brighter for the country and its peoples. Although often very overlooked or even used as a punchline, Romania is truly a country with a rich and fascinating history, wonderful and resilient
Ai dat click
people,
pe
and
link.
it deserves far more visitors than it gets. Hopefully now that we've been over its thousands of years of history, you'll be perhaps just a bit more curious about this place, and maybe I'll see you here sometimes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click that subscribe button, or even become a member like these wonderful people. And
E un link
don't forget to go
către
and check out
către
my
un
work
Google
and
Sheets,
find out a little bit more
către un
about
Excel
what's going on
file.
in history. My name is Janusz, and you've watched Living Around the Clean Europe.
Că m-ai întrebat dacă mai știu cu ce echipe am bătut fiecare boss. Acolo lucrez acum. Le updatez, practic. Har domnului că sunt vreo 700 și ceva de Pokémoni care pot să aleg la final de tot. Acum sunt la vreo aproape 400. După cum ai văzut. Deci fără un Excel e sfârșitul lumii să îți dai seama ce echipe poți crea pe aici. Ok, hai să vedem acum linkul tău care l-ai pus mai de mult. Asta e așa că mi s-a pus publicitate, fac aici.
Eastern Europe. A magical place
Da.
where dreams, hopes, and aspirations go to die, and ugly British men go to get laid. Its exact location is a bit controversial as everyone from this group copes and pleads how they're Central Europe, but we all know everything east of Vienna is Russia in denial. Despite this, even though Eastern Europe has played a crucial role in educating the masses on how not to organize their economies, very few people know the accurate stereotypes from the region, and very often resort to depicting
Să
everyone
văd.
and
Pot să
anyone
încerc
from this
să-l fac să
region
se
as
vadă.
Russians with slightly different variations. So, to correct this mistake, here are Eastern European stereotypes explained. If there's one country that constantly seems to stir the pot in Europe, then that is none other than Hungary. Throughout Europe, Hungary as a country tends to have a reputation as a troublemaker when it comes to everything and anything political. The EU is voting to pass a new law that criminalizes chucking cats off bridges into a river. Well, guess who's gonna veto that one? Who else but Hungary? As a people, though, the Hungarians are usually stereotyped as being quite cold, reserved, apprehensive, and don't like to venture out of their own circle. Throughout the Balkans, they're not the most well known for being able to speak a different language other than Hungarian, because of which everyone and anyone makes fun of them for it. Alongside of this, the Hungarians are renowned for their pessimism. No matter how good things are Eastern going, Europe.
Pisi. Ok, nu m-am așteptat să... Da. Am crezut că nu merge. Și merge foarte, foarte prost. Adică încerc altcumva. Ma să-mi dau seama unde... Imediat. Audio input. Ok. Mă auzi acum? Da, e complex OBS-ul, din păcate, într-adevăr. Foarte complex și nasol. Da. Eu nu mă pot auzi, dar tu mă poți auzi.
Hungarians will always find a reason to think it's not going to last, and everything will collapse into misery and suffering. Sort of like my last relationship. This is so prevalent throughout the Hungarian psyche that there is even a saying about this in Hungarian. Sírva vigod a magyar, which roughly translates to, the Hungarian is jolly while crying. Essentially, they're like a bunch of emos who instead of dressing in all black and having a questionable hairstyle, have to stick sour cream in everything they eat and speaking a language of the Martians from Mars Attacks.
Nie nam piciok, piwu na stół, no ma rozsiał jeżyk.
If you've ever seen a man on a hot summer day strutting down the city, rocking the renowned socks and sandals combo, alongside with a white wife beater and a mullet, then my friend, you've encountered a Czech. Throughout the Slavic world, the Czechs are seen as the most composed of the bunch, except for maybe the Slovenians. But we all know what goes on there, so we don't count them. While other Slavs love to spend their time in bars and pubs, drinking the most disgusting, revolting, gag reflex inducing brandy or vodka their grandpa personally spent their weekend brewing and ended up making in a tub whose fumes blinded the entire village for 5 days.
Drma, a? To je domaća, majku ti jebem. Kad sam je peko, cijela ulica halucinirala 3 dana od isparenja. 40 ljudi prijavilo policiji da je vidjelo boginju.
The Czechs instead like to drink good old beer.
German accent, and so of course I love beer.
Living in such close proximity to the Germans made them stereotyped as the most functional among the
Yeah.
Slavs, and the most stuck up as well. Many even just like to call them Slavic-speaking Germans. And if you're ever in Czechia, don't shy away from saying this to the locals. They'll absolutely adore you for it.
Polonia,
Czechs
da.
are the Slavs who have their shit the most together.
Florida,
The most
Europy.
unhinged. While in the US, Poles are usually stereotyped as being slow and not having the best of brain function, in Europe they are stereotyped as the most hyperactive, high energy spastics in existence. Every time you log on the internet and find some bizarre fever dream-ass clip on it, such as a homeless guy being spray painted silver, a guy screaming at some poor lost animal in the city, or just simply annoying the tram driver.
Bajajajo, bajajajo.
You just know it's originally from Poland. Besides operating on another plane of existence, the Poles are also stereotyped as being extremely religious. Today, the country is one of the most Catholic countries in the world, and by far in Europe. As a result, the Poles tend to take Catholicism quite seriously. This essentially originates from Poland being constantly invaded, annexed, and divided amongst its neighbors. As such, the church was the mainstay of Polish language, tradition, heritage, culture, and literature. Because of this, the church came to play a big part of life for Poles, and as a result, helped in the creation of this stereotype. Now, you think that a group of countries that is located this far east on the continent would accept that they are Eastern Europe, but no, we're not Eastern Europe, we're Northern Europe, we're Nordic, bro, please. But regardless of what their European pronouns are, one thing is for certain. Their food is a cardinal sin against humanity, and everything good from home. If you want your plate to look like something that came out from the chum bucket, the Baltic cuisine is the food for you. As a whole, the people are also known as professional Russia haters. Pray to God that if you ever enter in a competition on hating Russia, that your opponent isn't an Estonian. But considering the Russians more or less tried to wipe their entire culture and people off the face of the earth, it's kind of expected. Next up, we have Moldova. Now, if you ever seen someone online describe themselves as Balkan/Eastern European and create content about that region without ever specifying from what country they're from exactly, then my friend, you've stumbled upon a Moldovan. Essentially, Moldovans are stereotyped as basically Russified Romanians. Although they might speak Romanian, have the same culture as Romanians, and share the same genes as Romanians, if you're Romanian, good luck trying to decipher anything someone with a Chisinau accent said. They're also known as the world's biggest drinkers as well, and to be fair,
Tulaj
if
do
most
mnie
countries
wreszcie,
look like an
szapor.
endless Doomer montage, you drink too. It also doesn't help that they are some of the best makers of wine, for which they were known throughout the Soviet Union. Depending on whether you're a batshit insane liberal or a completely demented conservative, you either think that the Ukrainians are the most perfect, heroic heroes that are fighting to keep our democratic freedoms, and if you so much as say anything slightly critical of this country, you are a piece of Botnik that should go and lick the dirt off of Putin's boots and die. Or that they're the most corrupt Nazi sympathizers in the world, that the global elite, consisting of Klaus Schwab, Biden, Ursula von der Leyen, and Taylor Swift, is using as their pawns in an effort to achieve complete and utter world domination. And Zelensky himself is actually a shape-shifting fascist lizard man who eats US gold reserves for breakfast. However, if you haven't been lobotomized, and take modern political discussion out of the equation, Ukrainians are generally stereotyped as everyone else in Eastern Europe, being cold, living in gray Minecraft blocks, and eating everything and anything that's been stuffed in a barrel with vinegar for half of the year. Amongst the Western world, their women are known for their beauty and charm, therefore the country is a cesspool of wannabe alpha male passport bros that make YouTube videos on how to pick up a trad-wife Ukrainian girl, and not one of those icky, stinky, dinky American girls that only know how to charge their phone, twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie. Apparently they also eat a lot of pig lard and borscht.
Once again, I would like to make this very clear.
In the past, your average Russian was stereotyped as a cold, goofy man with a thick accent that does stupid shit in the tundra, such as wrestling a bear, driving like a fucking idiot, drink copious amounts of vodka, and pass out in the most random of places. However, ever since Putin just had to go and conquer more territory because God knows Russia being the largest country by landmass doesn't have enough of it, the Russians have started to be stereotyped as essentially an incompetent fire nation that can't even conquer the southern water tribe, let alone bossing state. Brain-dead liberals stereotype them as the second coming of the Huns and as the scourge of the earth, while cognitively inhibited conservatives perceive them as some conservative value-fighting crusaders who are here to free the world from wokeism and slay the evil stinkman Zelensky, who has almost sucked the entire Federal Reserve dry. At the end of the day, if you have a pulse, you probably have your own stereotype about these guys. In conclusion, and yeah, those would be some of the more popular stereotypes about these countries. If you enjoyed this video, as always, give it a like and smash that subscribe button. And if you really enjoyed it, become a member like these wonderful people. My name is Janos, and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe. Hey, why are you living in the USA? It is not the place to stay. Hey, I mean, shit in my glass if I may. Don't tell me that you are gay.
Da, da. Avem încă vreo 10 minute. Ia ție ai auzit de Wuthering Waves? De jocul ăsta nou, Gacha. Fel de Genshin Impact clone. Auzi? Alo, alo? Mai ești pe aici? Hello, hello? Anybody there? I guess I could end the stream. Since nobody seems to be here anymore. Just see. There is somebody. Who should I raid into? Shock of Sama should be good. Where are you, Shogo-sama? Hey, hey, hey! Yeah, I know. I just... am crezut că nu mai ești pe aici. Am zis că totuși să-i dau un raid înainte să ne mutăm la... înainte să ne mutăm la românca noastră.
Bumble, can Shoggy hold hands with us? Make it? Hell yeah. Yo, Lord Arambe, thank you for something. I appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. With a voice like that, I doubt that. Wait, what are you saying, Arrow?
Ok, atunci
Are you
las.
making fun of me or are you complimenting me?
O să mă uit eu la linkul ăla la fătuca aia.
What are you referring to? Of course.
Hai să-i dăm totuși un raid la micul nostru, bine? Înainte să plecăm.
Wait, what? Much mushroom are we talking about? Because depending on the answer, I might know where it is. Oh my goodness, Lord Arambe, you're going crazy. Thank you. And we're getting a raid from Ross. Oh my goodness. Ross, thank you so much for the raid. Oh my god, so much is happening. Yo, it says Starunky, thank you so much for the follow. Oh my god, so much is happening.
How's it going? How's it
Thank you
going?
all so much. How was your stream, Ross? Oh, and all the... we're just gonna need a second. Awesome, awesome. How are you all doing? How was your stream?